Hello, everybody. My name is Annabelle Bangs from the Center for Civic Engagement office at Binghamton University. And today, I am interviewing Broome County Family Court Judge candidate, Ms. Veronica Gorman. So our first question is, many college students may not be familiar with the role of family court. Can you tell us more about what a family court judge is and why this role is important to our community?
Okay, so a family court judge has jurisdiction over a number of different family court matters. Adoptions have to go through a family court judge. Custody visitation petitions. So two parents, either married or divorced, split up, and they want a formal arrangement with respect to when their children visit with either parent. That goes before a family court judge. We also do juvenile delinquency petitions, which would be charges for children under 18, that if they were charged as an adult, they would be criminal charges. PINs, which is person in need of supervision charges, which are, it's kind of the precursor to a juvenile delinquency petition. We also do grandparents visitation, depending on the length of the relationship if a grandparent has with a child, they can get court-ordered visitation. And also there are some other, I guess, less well-known reasons you go to family court. One of them being that if a parent is unable to care for their child, they can voluntarily put their child in foster care to receive some services. So if you just listen to that gamut of what a family court judge does, you would understand the importance of the position, because it's a family court judge doesn't sit in front of a jury. They make all of the decisions by themselves, and they have a direct impact on people's families and children and what happens to children.
Thank you very much. So what motivated you to run for this position?
So what motivated me actually was my entire legal career, absent maybe a year right after law school, was and has been devoted to protecting children. So for 8.5 years, I served in 2 different district attorney's offices as an assistant district attorney, handling all the crimes against children. So that would be serious sexual and physical abuse of children. In both Cortland County, where I started, and Broome County, where I finished my career in the DA's office, in both of those locations, I was assigned to the Child Advocacy Center's multidisciplinary team, which was a group of, I guess, stakeholders in the system that would meet once a week to discuss all of the cases that were pending in the community. When I left the DA's office at the end of 2015, I still wanted to represent children. So I became certified through the appellate division as an attorney for the child. And so then I started representing children in family court and Supreme Court in all of those cases that I talked about. So not only in custody visitation matters, but also the juvenile delinquency. And the other thing I neglected to mention, which is a component of family court that I think people like to focus on a lot, is neglects and abuse. So in the role of an attorney for the child, I got to continue to work with children and help them navigate those cases where their parents were facing or their caregivers were facing charges in family court for those proceedings. So additionally, in 2016, I became the Town of Union judge, and I held that position for 5 years. And so when I heard that there were the openings in family court because of retirements, I thought that a family court judge would be the perfect marriage of those 2 careers, my judicial career and also my career representing children. In 2018, in October, the legislation changed regarding raise the age. And so the age of criminal responsibility for children increased. And what that meant was there was a creation of a special part of family court called youth part. And we needed judges that were able to arraign children, because children could no longer be held in the same facilities as adults. So I was trained as an accessible magistrate so that I could be essentially the backup judge for the raise the age legislation that was passed. So that would be why I'm running.
Thank you. So you actually already touched on this question, but how has your background and experience prepared you to be successful in this position?
Well, again, I think that it was interesting because other ADAs used to say, well, you like these kinds of cases. And nothing could be further from the truth. I don't think that anybody likes cases where children are victimized. However, I found really early on that you can either talk to children, you know how to talk to children about hard things, or you can't. And I just developed a rapport with children, partly through a lot of education and training of how to talk to children about what they wanted and what was happening around them. And I think that that forms the basis, which is a little unique, I think, in my experience versus other candidates, as to why my experience lends me perfectly to this position.
Thank you. And then our last question for you today is there anything else you would like to share to help students decide who deserves their vote?
Well, I think that in a lot of judicial races, people sometimes get hung up on politics, right? Political parties. And with respect to a judicial race, I don't think that political parties really should have an influence that they do in other cases, specifically because we're not political. Judges are the last thing that is political. So on your first day in office, you take an oath to uphold the law and the Constitution, and that's the only oath that you ever take. So it's an interesting mechanism, which is that we have to align ourselves with a political party in order to run. However, people say I don't like politics, and quite candidly, I don't like politics. But it is the vehicle that we use to become elected. And so I would just strongly urge that the students of BU just do the research on all the candidates, because it's just like any other race. The research and the literature is out there. One of the things that I'm proposing is a program which would be a juvenile drug treatment court or diversion court, which would allow children facing juvenile delinquencies options, which would not be residential treatment facilities. So, and that would be, again, a program that would have to be approved by the Office of Court Administration, but it would allow children to have some options and get services in a way that they're not necessarily getting those services right now.
Thank you very much. To the rest of the Binghamton University students that will be watching this video, please, again, make sure to check out the other candidate videos so you can have a well-rounded understanding of all of the candidates. I would like to thank Ms. Gorman for interviewing with us today. Just a reminder that Election Day is on November 2nd, and you can stop by at the Center for Civic Engagement office if you have any questions regarding the voting process.